Hello, my crafty friends, and welcome to the Rocky Mountain Crafter. Today I have a real fun project. Whenever I pull out this gel press, it is always fun. These have such a great feel to them. They're kind of squishy, and you can do so many different mediums with them. Today I am just using some alcohol ink on them, but I've used acrylic paint in the past as well. You could also mix some of your alcohol inks or paints with water and give that a whirl. And the beautiful thing about this is that every time you do a printing or a press with the gel plate, it always turns out different. So no two are the same. I'm just trying to get rid of that circle reflection for you guys, but it doesn't work. But I think it doesn't matter anyway because I'm going to be inking this up and shortly it will be disappearing. So the colors that I'm using today, I'm striving for a Northern Lights effect. So I start off with kind of it's sort of a muddy yellow color already. It's a darker yellow called Crushed Curry. The inks that I'm using are Stampin' Up! Just because I'm not using inks anymore by Stampin' Up! And I had these re-inkers to get rid of. So this one here, I do believe I'm using a dark purple called Eggplant. And it's kind of a very raspberry purple. It has a lot of red in this color. And then here's a beautiful teal color, Bermuda Bay. Now you can use any inks, re-inkers that you have on hand. It doesn't need to be this brand. I just, like I said, I happen to have these on hand and want to use them up, and so I'm using them. Next I go in, I believe, with some Night of Navy. It's sort of a dark blue, and I just want to get some dark blue patches in there. So here, when I run this along, I'm getting these beautiful variation of color, and some of it's actually turning green from the mixture of the teal and the yellow. And plus mixed in with that beautiful Night of Navy, it's giving it like a real dark nighttime feel to it. Now, what I don't love about the gel press with alcohol inks is this bubbling that you get, because when you put your paper onto these, unless you do it right away, you're going to get these bubbles in your paper that are white. There's no color to them, and it's basically blank spots. So here I'm trying as quickly as possible to put this paper down, but honestly, I'm not very successful at it. And here I'm just taking what's left on the back of the brayer, and you just see just a little bit there. I think I might have done it off camera here on this one, because that doesn't seem nearly dark enough. So I'm pretty sure I did it off camera. But then I know that for the next couple, I do make a point to do them on camera. So here we have this beautiful mess. Isn't it gorgeous? So pretty. So I'm not really happy with that one, and I thought that I would come in with a lighter purple. This one's called Orchid Opulence. It's a real old one. And it's kind of a pinky purple a little bit. And then I do the same yellow and the same teal. And I'm not sure if I go in here with the blue or not. And I know for this one, I'm striving to be real speedy when I go to mixing it and putting the paper on top. I really am trying to not get any of those white blots or blotchiness at all in there. And let's see how successful I am at that. So these beautiful colors, oh, that's gorgeous. Now I really gravitate towards the lighter purple in here. To me, that's just a little bit prettier. And I'm not really feeling like it's dark enough, so I think I go back with some Night of Navy in there and get it a little darker. And you can see already that purple's almost disappeared. So here, go over it again. Now I'm not happy with the lines that are left there, so I try to get rid of those. And hurry up and get my paper. I had it right there, right ready to go. But it didn't matter. Regardless, under this, you can already see that it is bubbling. Like, look at that top right-hand corner there of dark purple. Well, you can't see it anymore. Anyhow, so then I do this on camera, not off camera. I actually do it on camera this time and get some beautiful colors there. So there, you can kind of tell that this is already going to be very bubbly. And not only that, but have some brayer streaks in it. I was thinking maybe that if I mixed it with some acrylic paint, like maybe some black or blue or white acrylic paint next time in the mix, that it wouldn't make it so streaky. So I'll have to try that because I didn't actually try that this time. And here's the two compared together, one with dark purple and one with more, that one was the dark purple, and then the one on the left is more of the pinky, lighter purple in there. And you know what? I'm not happy with either of these. So here we try again. We're doing the same colors over again. I've sped the video up because it's kind of boring watching it over and over again. You've seen it the first couple of times, you know how it goes. So here we're just putting on a beautiful mess again. And now I have my 2 pieces of paper ready. And I can just blend these with the brayer and get the beautiful mess of streaky color happening. And quick. I was so quick. Get that paper on there. And even I was so quick, I missed that top left side. So here I'm just getting the color off of the brayer onto a spare sheet of paper, ready to go. And I actually like that one. I like how smooth that is. There's not hardly any blotchiness in that top left one. And just focusing on pushing down on the paper underneath as well. And just really make sure that it's really pressed down firmly. Get as much ink up off of there as possible. And let's flip it over and take a look. So despite how speedy I was, I still have quite a bit of blotchiness on there. And so I'm just taking this extra piece of paper that I have and trying to get all of the ink color off of my gel press. And picking up as much as possible. Now there wasn't hardly any on there to make any bit of difference at all onto this side. But I did really like this panel. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to use, of all things, that panel. And so maybe next time here I'm putting away the gel press. And so I'm picking off hair. I don't bother cleaning the gel press prior to putting it away when I'm using alcohol ink. I find that I get enough color off of there. Now, if you were using acrylic paints, you most definitely would want to go give that a wash down under the faucet first before you put it away. So I'm taking a look at the pieces that I have here. Not happy with this. It's very streaky, very bubbly. Not happy with this. Once this started to dry, I didn't like the lighter color. I actually preferred the darker purple, but that has way too many bubbles in it. So I'm talking here about going and getting a blender brush and blending in some Night and Navy on it, but I think there's too much white in these for that to actually work. Now, one thing I could use this one for would be a beautiful water card, maybe with some octopus or something on it, and then those white spots would look like bubbles. However, this one here that I did with the brayer, I'm feeling like this is perfect. So that ends up being the panel that I use, is the one on the right. There's the other ones I did, and yeah, I'm just real happy with the colors and the texture and the layers in that one on the right. So the next step that I do is I take some Juniper Mist ink, and it's just a really dark navy blue. And I use a blending brush here, and I'm going to try to blend out as much as possible of those white parts on here. So I'm just picking up quite a bit. I'm going very heavy-handed here, and I'm picking up a lot of the Juniper Mist ink. And I'm really squishing my blender brush down into it. Like, I pick it up in my hand and I squish it down. And regardless of how heavy-handed or how much ink I have on this big blending brush, I'm feeling like it's not enough. Like, I'm just not getting a saturated enough color. So here I have a smaller blending brush, And oh yeah, that's going to be real great. That is working perfectly. That's exactly what I wanted, was these darker areas, quick and easy to cover up these little white blotches that are on here that I'm not happy with. And so I'm just going around the card and doing just that. Here in a little bit, I speed up the video because it's very boring to watch me do this. So, and then I'm feeling like this is going to work perfectly. This is working so good. This is, and I'm just checking for the stamp. This is the stamp that I'm going to be using. And so I'm just checking in relation to the stamp how much white I need to fill in with the juniper mist so that it's all got a dark feel to it. So I'm just finishing off here with blending the blue in. Now on the right, you can see I put an acrylic block there, and I'm just taking some acrylic paint and I'm going to be mixing that. I don't have a sink in my crafting room or a wash tub or basin or anything down there. So what do I have? I have the water brushes. So I'm just taking a few drops of that water brush because that's all that I'll need. And I'm taking a fan brush and mixing it all together. And then I'm just going to splatter some onto my card panel, what's going to end up being my background of my card panel. So here I've mixed it in with the water and the acrylic paint with my fan brush, but I'm not happy with that. I'm feeling like it needs to be more watery. So I take one more sploosh of water here and mix it in just a little bit more. And you can see already it's much more watery, so I'm happy with that. And I decide to use this concoction that I've made in a white acrylic paint and water to splash onto my card. Uh-oh, look at that big drop. That's no good. That's gonna ruin my card. Or so I thought. But I just keep pressing on anyway. And it turns out to be an unbelievable, beautiful accident, like most of them do. So I'm thinking here, it's okay, the tree will cover it up anyway. And so then I take my dry chamois, which is not wet yet, it's dry, and I blot up as much of that ink in that white puddle as possible. And there I blot some up there. And anywhere where I thought there was a little bit bigger of a drop than I needed, I just blotted it up. And I'm so happy with the colors of this, but I'm not happy with that big white blob. It's really bugging me. And I'm hoping that the trees will cover it up. Look at that cute Create magnet. So I just got the Tailored Expression advent calendar in December, and that was one of the gifts. Love it. So here I need to cut this down, obviously, to a size that will fit better on a card. I'm checking my Misty, which is 6 by 8, and then I'm going to cut this down to some size that will fit in there, which is 6 by 8. So then I'm putting on my magnets here and getting the stamp set out. And this stamp set is called Through the Trees, and it is by Pink Fresh. There you saw me condition it on my wrist. And I'm just placing it where I think that it will cover up that white blotch. And I'm using Catherine Pooler's Blackjack. And so Catherine Pooler inks are very, very juicy. They're like inks for dummies. And honestly, they are great. Now look at how this is turning up. So I didn't cover up that blotch perfectly, but in my mind, it's enough. So I put it in my Misty and stamped it a couple times. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the sentiment. And there's so many beautiful sentiments in here. That one said simply enjoy it all. And I wanted something scripty, but there's just so many gorgeous ones. And I didn't want to take up too much of the middle space that really shows the color of the Northern Lights. And that one says, everyone needs a friend. Thank you for being mine. And there's just so many great sentiments in this set. Again, it's pink fresh through the trees. And so in thinking on it, which occasion comes next is Valentine's, and this would make a great Valentine's card. And I wanted something scripty, so I went with the Let's Wander Where Wi-Fi is Weak. And I did that 5 times, literally. I know I sped it up, but you saw me just do it 5 times quickly. And so I'm loving how this is turning out. At the bottom right corner, I'm just feeling like maybe some of that white down there just needs darkened up a bit. So I'm taking my small blending brush again and just filling in those spaces that needed to be darker. Then I trim this panel down to a size that I think would be good on a card, and I just trim it until I'm happy with how it looks. I don't have a size in mind. I just do it until I'm happy. There is no standard size for this. And it turned out that this big blotch ended up looking like a moon through the trees. And so I was actually super happy with it. So here I've just decided to back it onto black, and I'm just creating the base here for the card base. And I have a little bit extra on that right side, but afterwards I go in and I cut it off. Now I'm thinking here that maybe actually some white first would look good, like a real thin white. So that's what I do. I do a ultra thin white panel and then onto the black. Now, I was super happy with this card. I felt like the black could have been better. But anyways, it was good enough, and it's for my husband. I didn't bling it up because it's for my husband. But then something happened. Then I went for lunch because, you know, kids and husband have to eat. And when I came back, this is what I saw. I was so sad. Who needs lunch? Why do they need to eat? Food is for weirdos. Just kidding. Anyways, that's the life of kids and husband. So anyways, I darkened it up. I didn't show you guys that part, but I just put the pieces back into my Misty, lined it up as best I could. And then what happened was this other beautiful accident. So right along the white small edge, I got black, but I got it only where the trees were. And I loved how it broke up the white. I absolutely loved it. It looked like it was made for this card. Not only that, but here on this moon, I call it, you can see that the ink is pooling still because I had just done this and it's not really dry. So I'm going to take my heat tool and dry it. But I don't do it solid in one spot because I don't want to bend the card any or have it warp any. So I do on and off there a few times, on and off, on and off. And then when there's just a tiny little pool left, because that did work, then I take just a piece of dry white paper and try to soak up anything that might be left. But actually, I flipped over the paper. There was nothing on it. It was clean. And then the craziest thing happened. It's not showing as well in the video, but where the moon is, it looks sparkly. And same with where the W is for wander. It looks sparkly. And so this card turned out to be way nicer than I had ever imagined it could be because of all of these beautiful accidents. So if you have an accident while you're crafting, don't give up. Keep going. Beautiful accidents can happen. And so I just was so very happy with the final result of this card. Again, it was midnight, and this is a premium archival ink by Catherine Pooler. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my videos.